Shalom, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rabakah HaKodash, double honor to all the apostles, a great millstone, to do well. Peace, love, and blessings to the brothers on highways and byways, giving all diligence to make it call and elect and share, and also blessings to the very few sisters out there listening, learning, and believing. I'm the affiliate, we cannot collect from you once again with another lesson, Lord's will, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, lessons edifying and exhorting. Hey, y'all, cut that light off. And go back over there and chill out. As you can see, IMF issues global economy warning. All right, uncertainty is costly. It says global economy is expected to grow more slowly this year and face higher inflation. The International Monetary Fund has said, citing global trade disruptions and rising protectionism. All right. Like you see, the whole trade war, the tariffs, so on and so forth, all right, has shooken up the global economy, which we believe that, Donald Trump, his handlers, the elites, all right, basically gave him that order to do that, okay, because this system has to be broken down, and this is basically accelerating that process, all right, very quickly. You can see America's being isolated. Basically, other countries are Xing them out, and they were already dumping the U.S. dollar, all right, and basically shortening their dependency, so to say, on the U.S. dollar. But this gave them the extra motivation to basically X out the dollar, all right, based off of these things. It says sweeping tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, which he says are focused on prioritizing domestic manufacturing and renegotiation trade deals in favor of the U.S., which, when you think about manufacturing, those are big plants, big factories. Those things have to be built, all right? So, this is that's the cover story, right? Because you think about it, he has 4 years, a 4-year term. Okay, when you look at all those factories, let's speak about China. Those are huge factories with at least millions of people working inside of them. All right, America doesn't have the infrastructure, all right, nor the manpower to basically produce, that many goods. So if you really scrutinize that, just off the fact of the short period of time, all right, to, he has 4 years, you really think, that is possible. That's why I say, we really just believe that's the cover story. His, orders were to basically, collapse the system. It says sweeping tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, which he says are focused on prioritizing domestic manufacturing and renegotiating trade deals in favor of the U.S., have caused a sharp rift with trade partners, including the European Union and China. Speaking on Thursday, IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva called for urgent reforms and renewed global cooperation as she previewed the fund's upcoming World Economic Outlook report. All right. So you pretty much see it, but I'm not going to read this whole article. Main point I want to get into the scripture. So this is happening global. So what Trump has done has shook up the global economy. Because once America collapsed, these other countries, they might have made other deals, so on and so forth. But they're all going to feel it. The world is going to feel it. When America collapses, so does everything else. So I wanted to get into the precepts, Revelation 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this whole global market is getting ready to crash. Okay? And this could be the start of it. Definitely the terrorist trade war. But I also believe an actual event, all right, will further, I guess I would say, put the nail in the coffin, all right, for the collapse. A series of events, who knows, but this is the hour of temptation, because this MOTB will be implemented globally as this old system crashes and gets removed. The new system will be by the way of what the apostles saw, Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And as we always thoroughly broke down, all right, because this is their plans. That's why he said he causeth. Okay? He causes. That word mark, going to the root word, which is karax, a pale or a stake or palisade. All right? In that small pale, when you look at a pale or stake, it's basically a piece of wood sharpened to a point. Now, when you look at an epidermic needle, it's basically like in that same shape and form. All right. As we know, that technology to make those small microscopic needles wasn't around during the time when John saw this prophecy. So he used the modern terms in his time, pale, stake, palisade. All right. Because that's what resembled the figure, the shape of that needle when he saw people receiving that mark. And as you can see, it says through the idea of scratching, and that's basically sharpened to a point. And that's basically what when you get a shot from a doctor, basically that needle, it scratches your skin open and they deliver whatever serum inside of you. So all you have to simply do is look up RFID chip implant, what people are buying and selling. And, the technology, you're already used to using it by the way of the NFC, near field communication, where you tap to pay. All right. So you're already being accustomed to using that form of payment. We barely use cash. We have people when we go downtown preach the word every so then. So then you get people to ask you for a couple dollars, and basically we reply, we don't carry cash, which, again, grooming the public to get them familiar with waving your hand or cashless forms of payments. So this is the plan of the beast system, of the beast, Esau, Edom, and his system. Okay? His system worshiped the beast in his image. Okay? And by you receiving that mark, basically you're pledging allegiance to the NWO to be able to partake, all right, in the system. So when you see things like this, because the scripture said that shall come upon all the world, you see IMF issue global economy warning. So this is all plans, the secret council of the elites that the Most High has revealed to his babes. Okay? see if I can get that preset real fast. Too many presets that says secrets. Hide me. Let's type that in. Let's see if we can get it. That's right. Yep. Psalm 64 and 1, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So this is the counsel, and the Most High has revealed it unto us. Okay? And this is what the Apostle John saw, the vision that he saw. People lining up to receive that mark. Okay? So as inflation takes place, products are hard to get, empty shelves. All right. Let's see, suddenly, if I spell that correctly, go to Apocrypha. Ezra's. Bear with me. Yep. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. You're right to the point. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. When you think about something fastened down and sewn together, think about society. Something happens, you have public services, ambulance shows up, police officers show up, you have sanitation, people that come and clean up, mow the lawns, all those public works. Okay, you have the city transportation, street lights, and again, the operation of society. Things are sewn, things are knitted together. It's not chaos. And suddenly shall sown places appear unsown. So one day it's just gonna pop off. Where the 911, you call 911, the police ain't gonna show up. EMS not gonna show up. All right. Street lights either not on or just blinking. Once a traffic light goes out, you know how much congestion that causes. All right. So those are things that said, a full storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. So you're gonna go, if the storehouses are empty, because the things shipped from the warehouse or the slaughterhouse or whatever, then they go into your grocery stores. All right. So if the storehouse is empty, the grocery stores are going to be empty, and that's going to happen on a sudden. And then if you can't find food or items, they're going to be highly overpriced due to inflation. All right. So we asking the Lord, the Most High, Yahweh Bashiach Shai, to preserve us from these times, but he said he will. Revelation 3 and 10, it says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. All right, and that's that time of trouble, Jacob's trouble. It says, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, because that's just what happens naturally due to the lack of resources. Okay. People's true colors come out. They're only friends and cordial with you right now because they're not hungry, because they have their basic necessities. Okay? But let those things fade away. You're going to see a different person. It says, the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right. Whosoever remaineth from all these that have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. So seeing this, the global economy being shooken up, housing markets getting ready to crash, all right, the dollar is at its end. This isn't just another event. This is heavy because the U.S. hegemony, the dollar is what dominated the planet Earth. What's what I'm looking for? The global market, for lack of a better term. So this isn't something. Oh, it's just life. No, we talking about the dominance, the end of an empire, its position and power. All right, that is a transition of power is taking place. Okay, where Yahushua, the Son of the Most High, will come and reign on the planet Earth. All right, in all our transactions under the kingdom of Yahushua, which by default the kingdom of Israel, all transactions are gonna be done with real money, gold and silver. Okay, that's a solid kingdom. All right. So, we're watching and hastening. All right, rejoicing at the same time because we see that the prophecies are taking place and they're about to come to pass. So, don't tear away for it. So these things are gonna happen at a sudden. All right. Majority of people they're feeling the pain, but they're not preparing themselves, and you only can prepare yourself by seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and you only can do that through his men, the prophets he set up. So with that, Lord's will is edifying, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai.